In this module, I'm going to look at how to proceed and how to start planning for Horizon 2020. Now, success in Horizon 2020 is about winning individual proposals. So in other words, the best strategy is done at group level, the level at which proposals are written, not at university level, not at faculty level, but at group level. Now, if you analyze the projects that are funded, the first thing is they always are based on a good idea, really. So scientific excellence is the key criteria. The next criteria is the consortium, the team of people or the team, the actual individuals involved in the research. Impact is an issue that's the political part of the program, of the proposal. Is why is this important? Now, I won't cover that in detail in this presentation. We do that in another workshop. And the last part then is that the whole proposal is brought together. Now, scientists are very good at telling what they do. They're not good at selling. So when you're writing a proposal, you're selling it to the evaluator. So the important message here is you must understand the evaluation process. Having a brilliant team is important, but having a brilliant coordinator is one of the key decisions in any proposal, because somebody who understands the evaluation procedures, the forums, and so on is vital. Impact is about what's the relevance of the research to European policy. And writing impact is done by the organization in the consortium that wants the results. So it's not usually written by the scientific partner. But again, I won't dwell on that. That will be a future workshop that I will present online. And finally then, a proposal has a scientific part, it has an administrative part, and it has a management part. So writing a proposal is a team effort. So in a proposal, there's two parts. There's the content, which is the scientific part, and then there's the rules and procedures, which is the non-scientific part. And you have to plan your project around this. Now, when you look at a research center or a university, and if you're looking at how do we start organizing our support services for our scientists. Now, I divide scientists into 5 categories. The first category is what I call EU active. These are people who understand the procedures, they're already winning projects, and the type of support they need is quite minimal. The most important group in this list I see as the potential winners. These are people that will be the next generation of European researchers. And the following slide, I want to show you what you should be doing with these. Now, newcomers, now these are people I define as experienced scientists who are very successful at national level, but who have never participated in European programs. Beginners, these are postdoctoral students, usually young students, young fellows who are anxious to get familiar with the program. And then finally, the group I call no-hopers. Now, these are brilliant scientists, is that they just have no interest in participating in European programs. Now, again, you can't ignore them, so you have to decide what are we going to do with these people. Now, whoever's participating, they need support on the rules, the procedures, the forums, the finance, and if you can find money to help them write their proposal, that's a big advantage. So whoever is participating, they need these basic support services. Now, the EU active researchers, normally they're able to look after their own needs, and sometimes they need very little advice because they're already in the networks. These are the people that should get a lot of attention. Now, in some universities, the EU active researchers might be 10 people, less than 10 people. Potential winners could be another 10 or 20 people. Newcomers, what they want is one-to-one support. They just want to be taken through the processes. And beginners then, they just need short courses to be introduced to it. Now, for the people that have no interest in participating, it's important to include them on mail shots, send them newsletters, and make them aware of what are the benefits of participating. And maybe some of them will become active at European level. Now, let's focus on the potential winners. If I look at a research group, the first thing I would do is the following. I would get people to do a mapping exercise. This is what they have to do, is analyze projects that are already funded and to see which groups are winning the projects, where are they being funded. And in our workshops, we call this workshop, Who Took My Money? You know, analyzing where would we have fitted in if we knew the processes? Now, following that, the exercise they get is follow the people. They have to identify who exactly are the individuals that are winning it, who are the people in Brussels administering the projects, and who's advising the Commission. Then we look at where do these people hang out? What kind of associations, networks, and platforms are they involved in? And the final thing is, what conferences or networks do we have to join to make these people aware of our existence? The third exercise they get is who wrote my topic? When they identify the topics where they fit in the program, they then have to identify where did this topic come from? Did it come from a technology platform? Did it come from a KET? Did it come from an EIP? All the things I presented in Module 2. And finally, then each of the potential winners is expected to sign up to become an evaluator and to participate in any committees in Brussels. Now, and I want to give an example of what I mean by mapping. Now, here's an example of a group that did a search on where is aging research funded in Framework 7. And you can see here it's in the health program, the KBB program, ICT and transport. It's also in the Article 185 initiative, the joint programming, the EIP, and the EIT. Now, all of those are presented in the other module, but this is just a simple example that if you're planning a strategy, you need to know what's the difference between all of these different programs, what are the evaluation criteria, what are the difference in the forums, and so on. Now, for beginners have two problems. First problem is learning the rules and procedures takes time, but there's a bigger problem. They're competing with people who are very experienced in European projects, and these two have to be taken into account. So what we say to scientists who are beginners is start by mapping, by analysing who's winning projects, what type of projects are being funded. We then get them to identify which conferences should they attend, which centre should they visit, which journals or magazines should they be submitting articles at a European level. Now, in Framework 7, there's a Marie Curie program which funds fellowships, and they have a service called Euraxis. And Euraxis publishes vacancies. And the last time I checked, there was 8,600 vacancies. So these, if somebody's looking for funding for a PhD or a postdoc, they could find it at something like Euraxis. The Framework 7 program also funded access to research infrastructures. There's about 200 laboratories in Europe that have money to pay for researchers from other countries to access their facilities. Now, one of the bits of advice I like to give to total beginners is do not participate as a coordinator the first time unless you have a really excellent support service. Join as a minor partner, maybe in future become a work package leader, and maybe down the road to become a coordinator. Because if you try to coordinate on your own the first time, it can be quite a daunting task, and it could turn you off. So at the bottom of this slide, I have a website called the Beginner's Website, where you can see an example of how to undertake this type of activity. So in conclusion, if you're participating in European research, your ideas have to be excellent. You have the great ideas, great science. The competition is quite high. The funding for research and innovation in Europe is going to increase over the next number of years. The problem is that you're going to have different types of programs. You have ERC, FET, you'll have ARANETs, and so on. And each of them have different evaluation criteria and what I call secrets, different priorities or different backgrounds. And I see this as the biggest challenge for support services is how do we support people on the different types of programs? Universities and research centres are producing excellent scientists. However, the weakness is in what I call the soft skills. These are the presentation skills, networking skills, team working skills, understanding policy, proposal writing, project management. And these are learned normally on a kind of ad hoc basis, so these have to be professionalized. And I see this as the big challenge facing individual researchers in the future. Visibility in strategic networks. It's not about traveling around Europe every single week. It's about identifying one or two events in the year where you have to be seen. Not just attend. You have to present at the workshops, speak, submit articles, and this is the way you promote yourself as a scientist in Europe. Finally then, for research centres, the big challenge is moving away from what I call an ad hoc participation, where you're just lucky that some professors or scientists took it upon themselves to submit proposals, to a more systematic participation where every scientist considers themselves a European researcher. And I think over the next 5 to 10 years, this is the challenge that will face scientists, because the competition is becoming so high. The whole process of participating in European research has to become part of every research centre's strategy, and a system has to be in place to encourage and support this. So I hope you enjoyed those couple of workshops. Now I have a whole series of other workshops being put online at the moment. Again, I welcome your comments. My email is on the first slide, and you can find Sean McCarthy Hyperion on LinkedIn also. So again, best of luck with your proposals, and I look forward to seeing you in future online workshops. Thank you very much.